Evening, everyone. Welcome to the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne, bringing you all the action live here on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel. Now, it's been a scorching hot day out there and been really good to get out and see a few people out on the bike today. But of course, not everyone's lucky enough to be able to get out in the daytime, and we've got plenty of riders joining us on the Chaingang once again. Plenty of existing riders and new riders, and some people who are new to the course that we're using tonight. Now, tonight we have a nice standard show for you because we are going to be bringing you all of the riders who are riding. We were out on Tuesday at Bologna for 3 times up the 8-kilometre climb, which saw a really nice compact group on number 1. Number 2 was a bit more strung out. Number 3, well, it was all over the place with the riders scattered out. But all in all, quite a compact and close group together. And that was really interesting to see just how everybody got on when we were riding on what was a very tough World Championships course. Now, today we're going to Richmond for another World Championships course, this time the 2015 course out and around the Richmond, Virginia, not Richmond, North Yorkshire. That'll be very entertaining today because it's nice and sunny up there, I'm sure. But no, Richmond in Virginia. And we are going to be using our usual leader. It is going to be the one and only Ross Downey, who is hopefully going to be on the end of a line. I know he's just jumped literally into the Chaingang. Let's see if we can get hold of Russ, and let's see what Russ has been up to, whether he's had his feet up and eating ice cream all day. Evening, Russ.
Oh, evening, Matt. I was listening to that, and yeah, I wish I was eating ice cream and had my feet up all day, but no, I did a steady yomp out this morning in the peak, and then I've been grafting away, starting my foundations, footings for my new Swift pain cave. So yeah, all good fun. And now my companion app's not working, so I'm just trying to get rid of that and get it back.
The perils of tech. I was doing an interview today with somebody who wanted to know all about the Chaingang, and I have to say, as I said to them, if we had £1 for every time that we'd sorted out somebody's tech, then we'd be doing well.
Yeah, definitely. Can you sort mine out in the next 7.5 minutes?
Well, it might be a bit tricky, and it's probably not something we should do on air, but it's, big hammer always my favourite, or just throw the phone across the room. That's always entertaining.
I've just got rid of it. I'm just going to get it back.
So, do you know what we're going to do, Russ? Why don't you sort your app nice and early today, and let you dive on with the gang. If we do the map and we'll show people where we're going, you never know, I might jump in just as we're about to set off.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's downloading now.
So speed your internet. We've got ages then. That's all right. That's all right. So, Richmond tonight on a Thursday, which is quite unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got to keep it spicy, mate. We can't just be letting the riders dictate the routes, can we? You've got to keep them on the toes. So, I do like yourself. I think I love Richmond course. It's a racy course. I've ridden it in real life, so it's good. And it works with the format. We do one easy lap, keeping everyone together. Then we ramp up to 3 watts per kilo, still looking after the blob, the group, call it what you wish, the gang. And then it's who dares wins, really.
And that's what this is, because the course is really brutal, isn't it? As you head up into the cobbles, it really does make life difficult, doesn't it? And it's one of the things we've avoided is putting in extra power-ups, because they do change the way it's played. But it's very interesting to see recently on one of the race leagues that basically the selection was made by who got the right power-ups. So the cobblestone definitely affect how hard it is for people riding.
Yeah, I think you see people, as they cross the finish line. I think the other night on Bologna, hey, thanks a lot, I've just got my feather. It's like, it's just, that's the thing. If someone uses it at the correct time, that's when they can win a bike race. But same in real life, if someone's having a bad moment and someone senses that, they're off skiing, that's it. So, yeah, and
you've got crosswinds, headwinds, got everything else all happening. You've got railway crossings, you can get people pulling out, you can get the break with the team cars or not. So that is absolutely critical, isn't it? It's getting the run and the rub of the green, the look of the draw, however you want to say it. It affects racing, and that's why Zwift, of course, put in the power ups into the game.
Yeah, I think they can't do the wins, they can't do the other things, but they can make it a bit different. And like I said, the quirkiness of the power ups and those little things make it less boring. You can see when people are using them, or then you can see when people aren't using them when you have the ghost one. So it's like, it's all good fun.
It is indeed. It is indeed. So we're going to no doubt see everybody on that start line. Looks like Alan Parsons with more success this time, because I think Alan now in with us as the red beacon. He is indeed. So we've got the Alan managing to make it onto the gate, which is always good news. So whilst I bring everybody the route where we're heading and the profiles courtesy of Velo Viewer, we'll let you get back and get those legs turning, Russ.
Yeah, it's good to see Alan on tonight and not his wife Judith or whatever. When you type one of Alan's email addresses, that it says linked to Zwift, and it comes up with his wife's account. So.
Well, maybe she's the one who does all the good rides, and maybe he's the one who does all the slower rides. We will see.
You never know with Alan, is he? Great fun on the gang. So yeah, cheers for the red beacon, mate, and I'm glad we actually got you logged in.
Definitely, and the post on Facebook very entertaining as well. Right, Russ, we'll catch up later.
Cheers, mate.
So great to hear from Russ out there at the moment, and looks like it is going to be a busy old night on the Chaingang. So let's go across to the map and show you where we're heading. As we've said, this is the 2015 World's UCI course, and we are going to be heading out now. There's half a K of leading to the banner, so you come in, take the right hand turn and shoot across the gap, and then basically head out on course. Now, it's quite a convoluted course when you look at the map, because there are lots of sections where you're on the same piece of road but going in opposite directions. However, essentially, we travel around this in an anti-clockwise direction, with all of the hills coming in the last half of the circuit. We're going to do that 3 times at 16.2k, which means that when we get to the world's lap banner on the end of the third lap, we'll have covered 49.1, and then there's the traditional warm down where people can spin their legs out, trying to encourage people to actually do that, which is easier said than done, it has to be said. Now, as we said, Russ, our yellow beacon, as always, on here with very few holidays for us, very little time off allowed for our yellow beacon, and Russ and myself bringing you the Chaingang all the way through last year and into this one, and over 12 months now since we've been up and running, and got to say a big thank you to everyone for their support. And Richmond is a fairly regular course. We were last here on the 23rd of February, in fact, and as you can tell by both Russ and mine's comments, it's one that we like to visit regularly. Now, let's go across to the profile. This is courtesy of Velo Viewer. Make sure you click in there, get the pro subscription. It is well worth it, because you can zoom in, scoot around it, you can lock it on ready to go out with all of the team, and get it so that you can look at every single bit of the profile, tell you how far you've gone, all of the graphics, you name it, it's on there. And as you can see, the first part of the course is in the upper half of this course. It is all nice and flat. We then drop down into the lower sections with the long out and back, and then into the really steep hills, and you can tell by the colours we're going up into the 10, 12, 13% as well, and that is when things start to get spicy. Now, with 39 seconds to go, it's not long before our riders are going to be setting off. At the moment, they are all sat on the start line, just waiting to go, and if we just take a little bit of a look down at them, 24 seconds to go at the moment. Our riders at the moment all teed up for the start, and riders steadily logging on to the bikes. And if taking a little bit of a look, it looks like we've certainly got our red beacon in there as well. We've got the yellow beacon in at the top as well, and our riders will soon be up and riding away into the distance. So here we go. The riders are off, and we're going to jump in with Russ. So let's see how our riders get on. the wonders of the modern tech means I can get straight in here. So here we are. The riders up and riding, heading out on to the start list. So let's jump in live with our riders here on the Donny Cycling YouTube channel with me, Matt Payne. So nice and easy for our riders to work out where they're heading. It is pretty straightforward. Stay with the yellow beacon. As you can see, our riders at the moment making their way out of the pens and onto the circuit proper. Russ riding on some lightweight, relatively lightweight wheels on that green and black Pinarello, which of course matches the kit, and our riders at the moment heading towards that gantry now. This is our first passage through at the fourth passage, end of lap number 3. This will be where our riders will be finishing at the line, because this is the critical part of the course. So 3 laps to go at the moment as we go underneath the gantry, and this is when we're going to be heading out. Now it looks like the red beacon is in full effect. I think Emma, the yellow beacon for the women's race, the women's Wednesdays on the Donny Chaingang, joining us before a race recon later. Lots of people jumping in to ride with the red beacon regularly, and that is just so that they can make sure that they get themselves in the spirit of getting on. It's a great way to warm up. It's a great way to get yourselves into the mood, and this is a tough course, so it looks to me like everybody just getting into the flow and starting to ride around. And just having a little look, looks like Alan, our beacon, is just a little bit further back. So let's jump in with Alan. So Alan Parsons, Mr. Ridley himself, Donny Chaingang, a regular member of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, and of course member of Bolsover. And District is in here. And I know he's been out in his outside gym. He's been picking up a tool or two, something that he used to do a lot, but of course these days now he's a big cheese in the building trade. He has minions to do that instead. So looks like Mr. Ridley, that is Alan Parsons, already starting to collect people. In fact, he's already picked up Miss Cookie on the way through, and in good company there with Miss Cookie. Miss Cookie, of course, one of our regulars on the Chain Gang, and good to see Sarah back on the wheels again, and sitting in with Alan. Just a couple of people a little bit further back. Looks like Tristan from Harrogate, who is in the gang here. Tristan, of course, one of our regulars, and good to see Tristan Emtage back on the pedals again, regularly on the Chain Gang, another member of the DCG gang, and great to see he's absolutely motoring. So let's take a little bit of a look. Looks like Cookie just pushing on here, and our red beacon, the man at the back, that is exactly what we're looking for. Meanwhile, looks like 1 or 2 people just starting to push on a little bit early at the moment. Remember, this is all about keeping things nice and smooth to start off with, and good to see Paul Coleman just asking how the shades look. Well, I'm not surprised because he is one of our winners in the 1080 Oakley competition. The Here Comes the Sun. We gave away, in fact, an extra pair of shades courtesy of Ian at 1080. Massive thank you to Ian Taylor. So we gave away a set of Oakley Sutros to one of our women who rode the Women's Wednesdays, and that went out to Wendy Wilmot. We gave away a pair of Oakley Sutros to the next was on the Tuesday of Here Comes the Sun, and that went to Caroline Mansfield, who looked very, very cool in them, matching the pretty gritty kit. Then we gave a pair away, and they went to Reese Wood. Now, Reese is a sponsored rider, but they are actually going to be going to his dad, who is, you know, let's face it, bit faster anyway, and a little bit quicker. And then, of course, we've got Paul Coleman, who won the last pair, and is going to keep himself looking smooth. You are never too old for a bit of bling, it has to be said on the way through. So looks like Miss Cookie and Mr. Ridley sitting here at the back of the main group. It is going to be the looks like Tristan moving up. Looks like Harrison Tacey moving up through the group. Daryl Tushel-Waller just all rolling around the back, just getting those little legs into gear. Shelley Charles was on a great ride. He's in this group. He was riding really well on Tuesday and absolutely handed it to Andy Hawes, who was in the area and riding with him. Let's have a little look. Who else have we got out on the ride? Looks like Steph Rawkin with us, another of our more regular riders these days on a Thursday. And Steph keeping nice pedaler, as I said. Look at that, 103, 104 revs per minute at the moment, and looks very, very smooth at the minute. Just seen Tom Linley in here as we just go over the cobbles into the roundabout, and as you can see, that group just started to get nicely compact at the moment. It's like Kermit and Miss Piggy up the road at the moment. It's just taking a little bit of a roll off the front there. So let's have a look. Mike Killingsworth, no, you're not controlling the front, mate. You're off the front. Kai, you are too, mate. You two can work yourselves out which one's going to play Kermit, which is playing Miss Piggy. We could have given you the cool ones like the guys in the band, but no, you're off the front. Look at this. Named and shamed and spotted on TV. So we could do a nice little instruction. When you are riding in a group, if you have your view on 3 or 2, these are standards, or 1, you will only see what's in front. If you press the 6 button, you can look behind you. You'll see just how big the gap is from you to the rest of the riders. In Mike Killingsworth's case, currently 5 seconds or approximately 270 metres. Mike is clearly feeling keen and strong. So here comes the turn now. This is the top northeast corner. This is where our riders come around that U-turn and start heading down towards the end of the top section, dropping down into the descent. You can just see this group all spread out. Looks like we're rejoined by Chris Heseltine. James is back in with us. Chris sporting a less than subtle beard in real life and a less than subtle beard on the game. Looks very neat and natty. Good to see Chris with us once again. Looks like he's alongside the man who has Bob the Builder as his best mate on the speed dial to come and rescue him when it gets hilly. That's Gareth Mason. So Mason in this group, and if we just take a little bit of a look, as you can just about make out Mason in the red and black here. So of course the man with speed dial to Bob the Builder to come and rescue him when he gets silly and have to answer the door. Some people have the postman come and knock on the door, other people manage to have the builders on call. Now let's have a little look. Mr. Woodbridge in action, and I know James Woodbridge was out and racing on the mountain bike, looking pretty smooth at the moment here on the road bike. Mr. Runner in here as well. Sean Custer, one of the key supporters, a regular donator to the Donny Chaingang and to the supporters club, and good to see out and riding. So let's have a little look just in at Fiona Kestevan, another of our regular riders, out and riding on the Chaingang here. And good to see so many female riders in with the gang. You may have seen up on screen a few questions regarding the Downing cycling kit. We will try and get you a quick zoom in. Now, Downing cycling coached riders. If you're coached by Downing cycling, then you will get yourself the option of wearing the Downing cycling kit. And you basically have to be coached by Dean or the Downing cycling coaching team to get the strip. And we're going to try and jump in with Russ. Let's get up above Russ. So give you a good look at this kit. You see the DCG logo on the top of the shoulders. The coaching works down on the back pockets, which are absolutely stuffed with ride-ons as per usual. Down second, down second. This is exactly the same as the IRL, the in real life game, and kit matching the real life kit, and Russ you'll see out and about on the roads training in this kit, and of course out on the Zwift World. Now if you're a coached rider, remember that is the place to be. Now looks like we're already starting to lose one or two riders, starting to head back towards the red beacon, and I think we're going to lose our regular women's beacon. So let's have a little check here. Yep, it is Emma who is riding in the AEO team kit. So this is the Aeonian race team kit. This is the Zwift team, and lots of riders riding for Zwift teams now, and at the moment you can just see Emma keeping the legs turning there in the Aeonian strip, and this again is another strip that actually does exist in real life as well. And I think we are going to see Emma just dropping back to match Mr. Ridley and Miss Cookie, who are on the way up there. Just taking a little look up at the front. I think Mike Killingsworth tried to avoid getting called out on TV, and putting in a nice smooth pace. If in doubt, mate, just sit on Rusty's wheel. It was my policy, if in doubt, most of the time. Now let's have a look. Looks like Kieran Kirk is in the group here. Kirk are riding nice and smooth at the moment. I think I've seen Ian Taylor in here. Ian is of course the main man behind 1080. I'll get him yet. He's jumping about like the frog on the hot pavement, which is quite apt today, given I've been out today and I know exactly how hot those pavements are. So here we are. This is Ian, the main man from 1080, the man responsible for giving away all those citrus and the Oakley bundles as well. And massive thank you to Ian, and super speedy in getting those out as well, dealing with all of those requests. So big thank you to Ian Taylor, who's back in with the team as well. And great to see. It really is a regulars gang up here. Mr. Catley is in here. Looks like Sam Kinlock in the group. Sonia Inslee in this group as well. So let's have a little look. Looks like Sonia again nicely in this pack, sitting in, and the pace is holding. It's pretty soon. You can always guarantee that Sonia's going to be somewhere around about the front of the pack, making sure she's sitting in those wheels. So just on to this little drag here as we head on the way around. Just seeing one or two people putting some power-ups in here. Gonna have a little check. Mr. Ambrose is in here as well. Looks like Mr. Pillsworth in the group. Mr. Runnett we've already got. Let's have a little bit more of a rundown. Mark Grant in here, another rider who I'm sure wasn't a fan of the hills. He had power dropouts on the wrong day. That was on the Bologna climb, which we were on 3 times last time. But certainly looking super smooth. This group heads out, and the main pack now clear of our red beacon group. That is the bus at the back of the pack. So let's see if we can zoom out and pick the bus up. So this group packing its way through the sprint at the moment, and at the moment it looks like Alan, the one in charge of ice creams on the bus. I think we need to have a quick check just to see just how many people he's got on board the bus. It's maybe he's got some secret passengers back there, and I think at the moment though it is in theory Alan and the gang. So let's have a little. Oh, look at that, Craig Herring's late. What a surprise. So Craig Herring is back in with us again, the man who was brave enough to go out and ride 24 hours of riding. Never mind 24 hours on the bike. It was 25 and a half, 26 hours actually total he did in 24 hours of riding. And as you can see, the team here, the bus being joined here by Emma, as Craig Herring's had a mechanical issue on his way home. That's not good to see. Now Craig jumping in with the main pack up at the front. Emma, the yellow beacon on the women's ride, getting a warm up and riding with Miss Cookie and Alan Parsons. An exploding rear jockey wheel. You want to be careful of those. The shrapnel's deadly, Craig, so just be careful you don't get spearfished by one of those bits of shrapnel on the way around. So it looks like the bus being joined there by Emma. So we have two groups out on the road. Tristan is at the back of the main gang, and now starting to make the way along the roller coasters. They'll soon be dropping down in towards the riverside before making the way back up. So Tristan Kieran, Keith Fox in here. Looks like Mr. Herring in the group here, just being dragged back on by Tristan, who's doing the work at the moment, and just putting a bit of a kick in here. And you can see that group is starting to stretch out. Looks like there's already been a bit of a fracture in that group between the gang, and just see Jess Evans, in fact, take one of the sprint jerseys on the way through. Jess, of course, former National Hill Climb rider, as we make our way dropping down. This is the right turn, which takes us down into the very bottom of the course here, and the gang riding well here. Craig just going to bridge across towards that front group, but both packs riding strongly at the moment, and don't think I can see anybody particularly in trouble at the back there, but Russ just sitting in the pack. Remember, of course, it's all about riding as one group. So just seen a couple of groups on the road. So a call from Russ for 2.5 watts per kilo to pull everybody back in together. The draft dynamics are that if you're not careful, you'll find yourself going up the road. And as you can see, Shelley Charles at the moment just being distanced a little bit here. Looks like Shelley's got a fair bit of company back there, because Rich Orrell is in there. And I think Caroline Mansfield in the company of Luke Taylor here as well. So Caroline just pushing on here at 2.9. And you can see this is why the front group have got to be super careful, because the gang here are distancing riders, not because they weren't pushing on hard enough, just because the gap's opened up now. Luke Taylor just going to pace Pretty Gritty CEO. That's Caroline Mansfield on to the Chaingang here, and Luke just putting in a bit of a kick here to try and give Caroline a bit of a drag up on to the climb. Be careful not to go too hard and distance on the way through, but this is what it's about. This is why we always say, if you're on the front and you are ripping a gap into the group, you are doing damage at the back. You won't see it, but this is what will happen as the train goes over the top. You can see Caroline deciding here at 2.5 watts per kilo, after having put in a big 3 kilo effort, watts per kilo effort, now being distanced as that gap opens up. It's at 3, now going to 4 seconds to the group. And as you can see, all of a sudden, there's a long string of riders in front of Russ. And Russ going to see the riders off up the front and behind a big gap. So just seeing Becky Porter-James just taking a little bit of a roll back to the yellow beacon here. You can see Gareth Mason, the fat cyclist, in here. Looks like Jess Evans in the orange jersey in here, and they're just seeing the gaps really have opened up here behind the group. It's currently 8 seconds to Caroline Mansfield, who's been pushing on to try and get back into that group, but you can see the front of the pack clearly in no mood to wait around at the moment, and I think a little bit of bear poking going on at the front of the group. So it looks like that gap really has opened up on the front. It is a long string as Russ repeats the original instructions. You can see a number of riders just distanced off the front now. Good to see Mr. Thorpe just putting the brakes on to wait and give Caroline a hand back across. Kate Genther doing the same, Rich Orrell doing the same. You can tell who are the people who know how to play the game. Craig Herring coming back as well. So Keith Richardson, Rich Orrell, Craig Herring, Thorpe, just working back with Caroline now. We're just going to see Genther just picking up the pace as well. So Genther is just pushing. Rich Orrell is just starting to push on here. And Rich at the moment, the back of this group, all working to bring back the rider back in there that we got distance. And it's literally just, you get a split as you go over the top of a climb and a drop, and then you go. So this is the group coming back together here. So just taking a zoom out, looks like the front have got the message and the brakes have gone on. You can see the compression happening here as these riders all start to pile back together. Thank you very much, folks. That's exactly how we want it to be played, and that's how you play the game. Look at that group. That is brilliant. So just taking a look, everybody back together again now in one group. We're just going to try and jump our camera through the trees here. Looks like Dan Coleman, Craig Genther rolling nicely on the back. A nice cruise up here first time. You've got plenty of time to go hard at the end. So everybody is together at the back. The front is still well strung out. So remember, it's really easy. Tips for staying in the group, please. Stay with yellow. Whatever you do, don't leave yellow beacon. Sit on that yellow beacon's wheel. That is the glue that is there to hold it all together. If you can't see where the yellow is, if you look on your screen and you can't see the yellow beacon, it's dead simple. You're in front generally. And it's about taking it nice and steady. A ramped workout will build the pace faster and you will get quicker. Also, you want to be reactive, so higher revs, as Jess Evans says. If you're spinning, it's easier to react to the pace changes. If there's pace changes in the group, that's one of the key ways to be able to ride regularly, and that will allow you to change pace more comfortably. It is always tricky in a big group to hold everything together, particularly on tough courses with big roller coaster sections. As our riders go, just focusing in on Rich Orrell in the green, just weaving his way through the riders, heading for that jersey of Russ. You can just see, I think Fiona Kesteven is sat right near Russ here. So Fiona in the pink and purple there, right on the shoulder of Russ. Looks like Caroline Mansfield in there in the orange, white and black. I can see Jess Evans in that same group, Becky Porter James in there. The really is a real mix of riders, but all sitting there. Looks like Taylor in this group, Goddard, and this is where it needs to regroup back together again. So good to see Mr. Burko is back, jumped in quickly with the yellow beacon. Fantastic stuff, mate. Thank you very much. And good to see our riders diving quickly into the back of the group there. So just taking a look up the road here, just seeing where all of our riders are, and looks like it is looking super smooth at the moment. So just seeing the messages. So shall we do a group ride soon? Well, at the moment, unless you are operating under the premise of a governing body such as CTC, or which is Cycling UK, or British Cycling Organised Club, then you can't ride in any more than 6 at the moment. 6 being the maximum you can get. It's not going to be much of a Chaingang ride. There's already been plenty of our riders meeting up, seeing great pictures of Miss Cookie out with people like Ted, meeting up with Ted, and we've seen plenty of meetups with riders. We've had Emma and myself are meeting with Finn. Well, I met with Finn Donahue, Tom Lindley, and remember, it's all about the riders getting together because the Chaingang has become a real group, a proper community, and it's one of the key things that we are looking to happen in amongst our riders. So, at the moment, our riders nicely out on course and. Just as we expect on these roller coasters, stringing out, but everybody slamming the brakes on the front and just pulling it back in together. Yep, Ted on an off-road ride with Miss Cookie. Great to head and round. So just keeping an eye on the gang here. It is looking like Mr. Ridley, Alan Parsons, working well here. So Parsons, the bus driver for the Red Beacon group of 3, and then everybody else in that leading group at the moment. Kai Hurst at the moment looks like he's the rider off the back now. Kai more than capable of getting himself back on. We saw him off the front earlier on. Kai going to no doubt be pushing on those pedals. So Kai giving it some beans at the minute and starting to move up. And as Alan says, the DCG is like the army, never leave a man or woman behind on the course. That is for sure. As Kai continues to push, he's trying to close down Sutcliffe, and this is where you are going to find the team all starting to try and close the gaps back down again. So Sutcliffe from out of the saddle, moving his way up into the main pack at the moment. These riders are nicely together at the minute. It looks like Russ in this pack, and if we work our way back through the groups, so they're looking like everybody packed together. 1 or 2 people just starting to feel the pressure, and Caroline here at 3 watts per kilo. Got Kai Hurst behind, just pushing on at 3.5. Going to, I think, be sweeping these riders up through. So Caroline, one of our lighter riders, now on to the climb here, pushing on the way up. And just coming alongside, I think, Tacey and Flynn Harrison. Tacey, of course, one of our real fast riders. Interestingly, choosing a disc and a deep wheel here, clearly confident on the climbs. And they are quite short, sprinty climbs, which does make a difference. Just going along the side of Flynn at the moment. So just seeing them come alongside Steph Rourke here. So Rourke, time to push on, Steph. Give it a bit of a kick now as we come in. Don't lose those wheels. This is the time to give it big beans, Steph. As we come towards line, this is where you need to be grabbing the wheels. Looks like Flynn just starting to head back a little bit. So we've just losing a couple with the pressure that's being put on the front at the minute. Steph Rowe doing a great job here of pushing into the back of the yellow beacon group here. Steph really working hard to keep that in there. Look at those revs, 105 revs per minute. That is some serious spinning there to get in there. And you see that heart rate shooting up as well. So a nice ride in there by Steph to get herself back into the group. We're going to work our way back to Mr. Flynn. And Mr. Flynn, one of our bigger riders, that big hill into the finish, mate. I'm with you. Those arms are terrible. I've got the same ones on my avatar. They are tough stuff getting into the finish line of that horrible climb at the end. Although I have to say, I do like this last climb, if only for the fact it's the only place I've ever managed to roll Russ on a finish line was right here. Mostly because he wasn't paying attention. So that gap has really opened up, and Mr. Flynn's going to have a little wait at the moment because Cookie leading this group with Emma and Mr. Ridley, Alan Parsons on the climb, working their way there on that final climb though. So they're going to take that right hand turn, soon be heading up towards the top. Let's take a little look at this game. The game's just about holding together. We take a little bit of a look up here. So I think the sun has been getting to everybody a little bit. It is well and truly fractured up the road at the minute, and it looks like Russ calling the shots to pull it all back together. So whilst Russ is pulling the group back in to some kind of semblance of order, let's have a little watch of our riders on the way up the climb. Our Red Beacon group doing what the Chaingang does best and looking after each other on the way up this climb. So jumping in with Mr. Flynn here, one of our members of the DCG gang. A massive thank you to everybody who has donated. If you're a member of the DCG gang, you keep the show on the road for quite literally everybody else. Everyone else, I know, donates when they can. We really do appreciate it. The amount of word that Russ and I have ended up putting in. We reflected on that earlier on today. You may have heard earlier on we were talking about an interview that I was doing today with somebody about the Chaingang and about commentary in general. And we were saying the volume of work that goes is quite phenomenal. We thought it would be a couple of hours a week, a couple of hours in an evening, and that'll be it. But of course, all of the rides, all of the recce's, of course, all of the software, the hardware, etc., all takes time, and of course, does require quite an investment in kit to make sure that we can bring you all of the Chaingang. So a massive thank you to everybody who has donated, and a massive thank you to everybody who's a member of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. You guys keep the show quite literally on the road. We don't take a penny off the people who are the supporters that you see at the bottom of the screen: Halo, OT, Veliskin, etc. At the moment, all those people are looking after the members of the DCG gang first and foremost, and that then means that those members who are members of the DCG gang are contributing to help keep the show on the road, to be able to keep us bringing you ride after ride after ride. So a big thank you to everybody who's a member of the gang. Watch this space obviously for more of those offers. Don't get you got exclusive discounts coming from people like OTE. We've got Veliskin in there, 20% discount with OTE at the moment. Veliskin with a 10% discount and exclusive products as well. We've got Halo with a massive giveaway. Remember, £300 being won by Tatashal Waller. 1080 with sunglasses and Oakley bundles going out of 10% discount over and above the already hugely discounted prices on Oakley's as an icon dealer. And of course, Pretty Gritty, 20% on Pretty Gritty clothing, and we've had Pretty Gritty giveaways as well. And I have to say, the t-shirt I'm wearing is put on for a reason. It was a warm one today, and made sure that that is what we were wearing today. Good planning or something like that. Now, our group at the back certainly going to be feeling the temperature out on course. In fact, they're heading on the opposite side, a couple of blocks across from where the yellow beacon is heading back the opposite direction. So it looks like this group riding together well. Miss Cookie, that's Sarah, along with Alan Parsons, our red beacon, and Emma, who is our yellow beacon in the Women's Wednesdays. 4 minutes up the road, it is Flynn currently riding solo. So Jim Flynn at the moment, keeping those wheels turning, keeping it spun around as he continues to head around. It's going to be into that loop. Then just in front is going to be Ted, and looks to me like Ted sporting some facial hair at the moment, Ted, and looking pretty smooth out there as well. So Ted, I think, is likely to be heading back to the beacon at the minute. We're just watching them making their way out and round. Just up the road, there is going to be the main pack itself, and Keith Richardson, the fastest rider, I think, technically on the DCG Zwift Power Team. If you've been a member of the DCG gang, the members supporters club, over the course of the year, then don't forget, of course, that you can join the Zwift Power Team, and we do check against the membership database for everybody who is joining, that they've been a member of the DCG gang. Now, our riders 23k in. Remember, we are well into a lap and a half at the moment, and looks like just pushing on here. It is going to be, I think, Owen Fletcher just in front. Fletcher in the pink here, just squeezing on just to get back into that group. I've just dropping off the back of the pack, and looks like Sutcliffe in here, Coleman in this group, Chris Esseltine, James Andy Scotland in once again. Scotland having appreciating, I'm sure, the lack of hills today. A quick rider, another member of the DCG gang as well, and those short, sharp kicks, I think, more to suiting than the 8k nastiness that was Bologna. I'll apologise now, it is a nasty climb, but it is always entertaining. So here we go. This group riding well at a nice smooth pace. So plenty of power-ups being earned as riders come in underneath the gantry there, and you can just see it really is snurring PBs as our riders came through there. The group rolling through together, just seeing looks like Ted out at the side of the road, which means that Flynn is going to see him just at the side. He goes flying past him, and looks like Ted just waiting at the side. I'm not sure whether Ted's got a drop out or whether he's waiting for the red beacon group. His avatar's looking very patient, at least at the moment. Take a look at the main group. Looks like Becky Porter-James in the maroon there, just sitting on the wheel of Martin Bolt-Martin in that Z Peugeot inspired kit, and just taking a grab of the back wheel of the group there. Shelley Charles in the black sat in with those riders. Looks like Fiona Kestevan in there. Caroline Mansford in the orange, white and black. Becky Porter-James just off the wheel, so just needs to squeeze on those pedals a little bit. It's very easy to get distance on this roller coaster section as we head down through the course. You can just see the rise coming up in front will distance people. If we take a little bit of a look back, those gaps will open up really quickly. So the head of the group coming through, and you can see that gap is starting to open here. So it is very easy to lose a wheel and get distanced on the way through, and Porter-James really needs to squeeze on here. That gap really is starting to open out, and this is what happens once you get onto the roller coaster. The speed picks up going over the crests, and it opens the gap. Now if we take a look, that gap has already gone to 5 seconds from Porter-James as she goes down the side here, and looks like Becky is backing the pressure off. That's not something to say without enough Grand Tour coffee, that is for sure. So down, taking that right hand turn, and you can just see the back of this pack all holding together. Nobody wants to be on the back of this group as they come into the climb, but somebody has to be. It usually ends up being Russ. If the pack are all feeling twitching, holding together, you can't afford to go too far. So Russell nicely in here, Rich Charles, Martin Bolts, Sonia Inslee in here, Tom Lindley in here, young Mr. Lindley. Pleasure of meeting up with Mr. Lindley and Vinna Donahue out on the mountain bikes. And Tom, one of the youngsters, had a great ride up on Bologna 3 times over. And no doubt be in when we get into that final climb, but looking good at the moment and pushing on well. So 3 watts per kilo max call on the hillside as these riders just go into these slight rises, just starting to pressure the back of this pack, but everyone's holding together well at the moment. Even Russell's sat in there at the minute. So this group not too far off hitting the climbs. Let's head across to the gang behind. So it looks like Becky Porter-James just up in front of Kai Hurston. It's going to be Jim Flynn. Ted just starting to pick the pedals up. I think he's waiting for the beacon and the bus here. So it looks like Ted just taking a little bit of a break, and currently going for the prize in the slow bike race here today on the streets of Richmond. But I suspect Ted just waiting for the red beacon group. This is Emma from the AEO Racing, the Donny cycling coached rider, leading the beacon, and Miss Cookie Sarah in a triplet of riders as they make their way around. Going to be taking this left turn with a slight little change of gradient as come round this corner. You Just see that road just starts to steepen, and they'll soon be heading off the side of the hillside, heading towards Ted, and then in their sights will be Flynn, Hurst, and then Porter James, but all at the moment giving best. This is the back of the group, and interesting again, Luke Taylor again, Caroline Mansfield. As the roller coasters start to come in, this is where the riders who are right on their limit just start to get drifted off. Looks like Dan Coleman going back to go give a bit of a hand to pull the riders around up on to the front. We know that Dan Coleman is absolutely superb at helping riders. We're going to see how they go on the way. The fat cyclist Gareth Mason just getting his timing right with the builders to come and knock on the door to give him a great excuse for not being in with the Packers to go up the climb at the moment. Still with McDermott, Shelley Charles sat in with Russ as well. Dan Coleman in here, Harrison Tacey. And there really is the regular gang up on the front of the group at the minute. So Russ isn't practicing to do a cover of 3 is the magic number. Russ practicing to make sure everybody's aware of what number they're meant to be doing, sat on the front of the group. There's plenty of time to race later. This is about dragging plenty of people through into the next section, of course. So just heading up alongside Larry's yellow van, the Valley UK man in a lot of people's thoughts at the moment with family back in Australia. And Larry's van just parked up the side. It was regular at a lot of the national series, and looks like Larry in situ at the side of the course here. So Larry Hitmont no doubt waiting to pounce behind a bush with the camera as our riders make their way up this climb, and looks like Russ sat in the pack here as our riders continue to push up on around this hairpin turn here, and certainly are looking pretty busy out there. Lots of riders queuing up, bouncing shoulders across each other. As Coleman just near the back there, looks like we've got Steph Rourke at the back in that group there. Looks like Craig Genther, Rich Orwell doing a good job of bringing people up. Lord Pillsworth in there as well. Greg doing a sterling job of pulling riders up and through. John Garfoot the same here. Mr Woodbridge of Velobans really helping lots of riders. Sean Ferron in there as well. As these riders make their way around these turns, you can just see it is a big pack of riders. It is tough stuff if you're on the limit when you hit these commels, because it really does make life difficult for people as they go up and through. And at the moment, looks like Mr Pattison just starting to feel the pressure from the group. So just watching Mr Herring on his way up here. Craig Herring, of course, the man who rode 24 hours of pedalling on Zwift Route Tempest Future, a course he's never ever going to want to see again. Did a fantastic job. Keep an eye on GCN. You're going to be seeing a lot more of him, that's for sure. Don't forget, of course, we've got Johnny Two Dogs in here. Johnny Lightfoot's on the road to recovery at the moment, and in and riding well, looking smooth as he comes through the moment. The Maestro with the airbrush in this pack, and as you can see, the group are really strung out now behind Russ, just because of the changing gradient. It is very easy to catch it out. Learning to ride in a group, learning to ride in a pack, an absolutely essential skill. Not just about going quick on Zwift, it's about knowing when to wait and when to let the pack come together, and when to use strength in depth. Now, a little bit further back, I'm seeing a rumour that the Beacon group has collected another rider in the shape of Ted. So good to see Ted here, Ted in here. Andrew Edwards in the group, and this group of 4 riders looking good as they come up the straight here. Looks like they've only got drinks left. What happened to all the ice creams and biscuits? That's not good. So the group now on the descent in front. It's 4 minutes and 6 seconds to Flynn Hurst just in front, about 37 seconds. Then Becky Porter-James on that climb at the moment. Mansfield now got a 30-second gap to Pattison. Pattison coming around the turn up onto the steep climb of 23rd Street. Martin Bolt seeing that beacon disappearing. Woodbridge working hard to stay with the group, 4.5 watts per kilo. Mark Grant gets onto the back of the group. Woodbridge is coming. He's going to make the junction as they come up on to the top. It quickly drops down off the other side though. Grant having to push his way really onto that group, and I think Bolt is going to see last he's going to see that group till they come across the finish line. So Martin Bolt working hard here. You can just see Martin on his way up towards the top of that yellow beacon, going off in the distance now behind. Pattison's got Bolt in his sights. Caroline Mansfield can see both these riders in front, but the main pack now, this is the group, and as you can see how fast those gaps open up. 3 seconds back to Woodbridge and Grant, and these are the chasing riders here. This duo really has to push here as they try to get back on the wheels. With a left turn, we go down, it levels off. We've got a right turn and we're back onto the climb again, and that is when things get very, very tough indeed for our riders. Now, 2 riders working against the aerodynamic drag here. It's still slightly downhill at the moment. They're putting it out to, what's this, 4.5 watts per kilo from Woodbridge at the moment, trying to chase the back of the pack down. And going to be a bit of a tough ask. I think Steve Hilbert just rolling at the back of this group, trying to give the guys at the back a bit of a chance to get on here. You can just see them off in the distance, but there's another couple of riders gone here, and they aren't weak riders, that is for sure. But the gaps have opened up from these riders as they go up on to the climb. So the main pack now on to this final climb. It starts before you actually do the right hand turn, and then it just gets tougher and tougher as we make our way up. John Garfoot looking good at the moment in that pack, and just gonna keep an eye on all of these riders riding around Russ at the moment. Just in with Fiona Kesteven at the moment, regularly one of our fastest finishers in the Donny Chaingang, and looks like Jess Evans in the group at the moment. Fiona Kesteven in there as well. Becky Porter-James not all that far behind this group as well, and Caroline Mansfield hanging on until that last big climb as well. So the riders well packed in here at the moment as they make their way up this climb, and certainly seen plenty of smooth riding as they make their way up at Woodbridge now. He knows he's 17 seconds. Can he pull that gap back? He's got Grant on his wheels, doing a great job, these two, of trying to get themselves back into the group on this climb. They were just distanced as they came over the top, and it has made life difficult. You can see they're on this 7% section. It's a long drag up to the top of the climb here. That left hand turn will come, and it drags past the start straight and keeps on dragging, in fact, all the way to the finish line. So dropping back in with our 3 red beacon riders. Looks like the yellow women's beacon just diving off to go and head on a race recon. Lots of our riders, of course, mixing the Chaingang with racing. If you want to race, make sure you jump in a race. If you want to ride, make sure you do a ride. So jumping across in to Mr. Woodbridge here. That gap has opened now at 23 seconds. Burko it is now, who's just at the back of the group. That Zwift Z1 concept bike, or as everybody knows it, the Tron bike, just off the back. And looks like Burko keeping those little legs stretched by giving it a bit of beans at the moment. So Burko rolling his way in there. Looks like Catley just jumping onto the back wheel. Looks like Steph Rourke nicely sat in with this group as well. So Steph keeping it nice and smooth here. Again, 90 rests per minute and sitting in with that pack. Great to see these riders working so well together at the moment. Just taking a look, Mr. Robinson in here. Looks like Shelley Charles still on a good ride. Mr. Thorpe, as we would expect. Sam Emsley, we knew would be there or thereabouts. Sean Ferron in there. Taylor's in the group. Runnett and Herring in here. Sonia Inslee, Chris Hasseltine, James Owen Fletcher. Looks like Gareth Mason has not managed to get the builders to turn up at the right time yet. Russ just ticking his way along quite nicely here as he makes his way around, and this the climb up from the Fan Flat circuit as he makes his way up on to this section of the climb. It is a big old drag here. So it looks like on to the drag at the moment, and Sonia Inslee at the moment just losing a little bit of a gap. Needs to just push a little bit of time on, just add some gas to the accelerator there, Sonia, because that gap is just starting to open, and that is not a gap you want to let go. Sonia, one of our regulars on the Chaingang, the very first member, in fact, of the monthly Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, the DCG gang. And Sonia riding nice and smoothly now, pushing 2.3, and we've got Woodbridge and Grant behind, so plenty of people to catch on the way through. Looks like Chris Hasseltine James either jumping off the back to take it steady, or is backing off the pace a little bit because he's got something else he needs to be doing. Meanwhile, back of the pack looking pretty good at the moment. Sonia Inslee, I think now 2.2, not going to get back. 2.7 is a bit late, and Russ has given the go, and that has definitely put the boot in to those riders off the back, because with Russ shouting the go, it is going to go quickly now as these riders accelerate. This is where we see the real big boys coming out to play at the front, not just the wannabes, because this is where the pressure is on. And Paul Coleman, the winner of the Chaingang competition, leading it out there, going through, and the group in the yellow and black, and here we go. This is it. It is absolutely nailed, and the gaps are opening up behind Ross here. You can see how fast this is struck out on the way through, and the gaps open quickly on this stretch of the road because it is pretty flat. Now, it's really tantalising. You can see what's happening on the other side of the road. We're going to be over on that other side of the carriageway very shortly. We come down, charging towards that U-turn. We go round the U-turn at the end, just underneath the statue. Then we'll be back underneath that green gantry very quickly indeed. Now behind everybody is racing to get back in touch. Harrison Tacey kicking out 6 watts per kilo to get on Dave Ambrose. Trying to do the same. Shelley Charles working with Lindley to get onto the wheels of Downing at the moment. But this leading pack are working well. It's like Kirk on the front at the moment, keeping it ripped up. Doesn't want to let too many people in. Gareth Mason's doing the same here. Mason in the red and black. Round the turn they go. And we're going to be heading back out now. And it is Gareth Mason on the front of this group who really is doing the damage to everybody behind. And you can see those gaps have opened up now. Who's made the catch, who's made the group, and who is off the back of the pack. So we have in here a select group of riders. Now in this group, looks like we've got Jess Evans in here. Tom Lindley's got himself back in. He's gone for the sprint. Is Lindley going to take that time on his way through? So Lindley putting in a fast time, 16:09. He does. So Tom Lindley was sat at the back of the group, used the group. He's been listening as that young man. He's used that group to go through the pack there. So fastest times for everybody on the way through. Now Jess Evans in this group. Jess in the orange and black kit. One of our regular fastest female riders on the Chaingang in here with the leading pack as they make their way along the straight here. And this is an elite pack of riders. It's a very fast pack of riders as they come through. Good sprinting by young Tom Lindley there. Doing it right, starting at the back, working, using that pack at the right time. The go has gone. You're going to have the fastest moving pack pretty much straight away afterwards. Doing a great job and still having the energy to attack tax as well when Russ gives him a compliment. So clearly still got plenty of beans, this young man. One to watch as we come in towards the finish. So let's leave this front pack and just try dropping back a little bit. Looks like we're going to jump in with Run It here. So this is Group 2 on the road at the moment, and looks like Paul Coleman in here. Luke Taylor's in this group, and looks like it really is going to be a tough chase for these riders now as they try pushing on those pedals, trying to get the gap down. Orrell in this group as well. McDermott on the front of the pack at the moment, stringing it along, but I think that gap has gone. Now 11 seconds back is the group of Cannons, and this is Cannons, Taylor and Pillsworth. So this is group number 3 on the road. So group 1 is the Yellow Beacon group. Group 2 is those chasers just in front here, 11 seconds in front of Cannons, Ian Taylor, and is going to be Pillsworth. 5 seconds behind them though, we've got another 4 riders. Fiona Kestevan in here. We've got Forrester as well as Kinlock and Sean Ferron. So some fast riders in this group, and some fast riders in all terrains, and they're not all that far behind group 3. You can just see them in front. So this is group 4 currently on the road. Group 5 behind is an even bigger group containing Steph Rourke here, and 5 riders. Mr. Mason is in here as well. Sutcliffe, Scotland is off the back, but it looks like Robinson has made this group. Steve Hilbert is in here as well. It's riding in with Hilbert at the moment in the green. This group working well together. They're going to try and close down. There are 2 groups very close, one at 4 seconds, one at 9 seconds. And if all these groups came together, if these 3 groups came together, they really could put the pressure on group number 2 and potentially try and close that gap right down. The Yellow Beacon group maybe too far ahead, but groups 3, 4 and 5 are in danger of being closed down here and becoming one group. If they can work together, they're all going to need to work to get that gap down there. Opening a gap on Scotland, on Johnny Two Dogs, Sonia Inslee, Woodbridge, Grant, Patterson, Bolt, Mansfield, as we work our way back through this group. Flynn still in front of the Red Beacon group, and looks to me like Alan Parsons in the group, Sonia Inslee there, Ted's in that group as well. They are our main 3 with that Beacon. It is the Red Beacon group. Flynn in front, then Mansfield, then Bolt, And then Pattison, Grant and Woodbridge, all lonely solo riders. Inslee doing the same with Johnny Two Dogs, sculling on their own. But then we get into these groups. And these 3 chasing groups. This is 3, 4 and 5 on the road. This is group 5 working to close down on group number 4. This is group 4 who are closing in on group number 3. This is group 3, and they're coming quick because they could get these groups closed down. At the moment it's looking tight as they come around that turn behind, though. The chase is coming, and it's coming from these 4 riders working well, not all that far behind. You can see this pack are working to close them down, and it is getting very close. 3 seconds separates 5 and 4. 4 seconds separates 4 and 3, and then it's 20 seconds. Now these 3 groups need to close the gap down on to the group 2, and group 2 we know that they're under pressure here. They are in danger of being closed down by the groups behind. They've got a reasonable gap at about 25 seconds as these riders push on now, just in through Broad Street. And Tom Lindley doing the business once again there. Really is putting the pressure on that league group every time they go through the sprint. He's definitely collecting jerseys. He'll soon have as many jerseys as Russ has now. Just taking a look, looks like Burko's legs have gone pop. Come on, mate. You've got the, you can do this. Don't get caught by that group behind. They're coming quick, 16 seconds behind. Looks like it is pop for Burko. Tacey on the back of the group. Childs in this group as well. Looks like Taylor, Jess Evans, Owen Fletcher, Gareth and Mason in here. Liam Calloway in here. Dan Coleman is in this group. Craig Herring in here. Looks like Thorpe, Emsley, Daryl Tattershall, Waller in here, Murray in this group. It looks like pretty much a who's who of riders. Richardson's in here, Ozek Hayes in this as well. Tristan from Harrogate's made this group. It really is a select group of riders, but it's still quite a big group of riders. Let's see how they're going. It's going to be interesting to see if they can keep away. Who's got the power out of this group to rip it up? Remember, we finish on a big climb. You've got to save something left for that climb. The question is, how much are you going to save for the climb as we follow the group down this descent at the moment? It's looking good at the moment as they keep descending a right and left hand turn onto the flat roads at the bottom. And certainly it looks to me like they are working well as a pack here, and at the moment getting the distance on the chasing group behind. So rumours abounding that Gareth Mason is going to go for a Sagan and stretch the gap out. He's gone early, that is for sure. Not wanting to leave it too late, doesn't want to drag too many fast climbers in. And Mason really has put the hurt on here. He's gone early, and they're having to respond to this. Tristan from Harrogate at the moment not putting in as many watts per kilo. Coleman coming to the front, Herring up there, Fletcher up there. The big names starting to react to this. 5 seconds is the gap at the moment. So it is currently Mason who is leading the group. He's opening the gap now. Coleman responds. Coleman's putting a big kick here, trying to bridge across, I think, and he may well bridge the gap across to the solo leader. He's going to drag the rest with him. Thorpe now responding. Thorpe up at 8.4. This could be a very select group of riders if they can make it across without dragging the entire group with them. But if we take a little bit of a look up on the map, you can just see it's a little all over the place. So Mason, then Coleman, then Thorpe. Thorpe with a little bit of a gap. Then it's Herring and Downing. Daryl Tattershall, Waller, Phil Ozek in that group. Fox in there. They're not putting too much pressure on at the moment to close that gap down. They don't want to take it all apart as they come in and through at the moment. But it certainly looks to me like these 3 riders are going to get caught back. The question is, how much damage has it done to the group behind to close that gap down? You can just see the back of that pack really just feeling it, trying to hang on for grim death at the moment. They're literally ripping the fingernails off, grabbing onto the back of each other's jerseys to stay with the leaders that come through here. These three leaders really have put the pressure on, and you've got to think that Mason, who's one of our bigger riders, a 100-kilo rider at one point, has gone early just to inflict a little bit of damage on the way through, coming in to take this left-hand turn here. You can see what the gap is at the moment. It's next to nothing. It's only a couple of seconds that come around that corner. The chasing pack behind, trying to close that gap down. We then have solo riders out on the road behind, but at the moment our leaders coming back together again, once again. So Coleman now on the heels of the riders in front. Everybody is starting to pack in together again now. Just in with Kieran Kirk, the youngster from Scotland here, and keeping an eye on Shelley Charles as well, but just riding with Kirk at the moment. Who's going to take this on the front? I think we're going to see Russ putting the pressure on here. Remember, Russ has ridden this in real life. He's been out and ridden this circuit in a real race scenario, so he knows where it's going to bite, where it's going to be tough. And as they go up on to the climb, it's now Dan Coleman again who's gone hard on the front. So Coleman it is who's opened the gap up at the moment, and can they respond to this? Russ Downing is going after him, so the chase is on and behind. Russ putting a big kick in here, and it's Russ who's trying to close down the gap on Coleman. Coleman has the lead at the moment. Russ Downing using that feather power up very early on this climb, just to get across that gap. He doesn't want to let it go. Remember, as we go up and over the top, that gap will really open up, and there will be distance between these riders. If you think it's opening quickly, now it's going to open even quicker as they go over the top and drop down the far side. Now the damage is being done here. Coleman clear with Downing, two riders clear at the front. Tacey and Thorpe closing the gap down. Four riders coming together behind, two riders left. It's Daryl Tattershaw-Waller and the fat cyclist Gareth Mason, who are the nearest riders to our leading four. So two duos, they come up towards the line. It's Coleman, Downing, Thorpe, along with Tacey. Four riders make it across the line almost simultaneously there, with a 1:13 and 1:14 time behind them. Then it is going to be a chasing solo rider, I think, as they come through. Just going to keep an eye on those times as the riders are really putting the pressure on to get across that gap. But look at this. Tacey has not relented over the top. He's already opened a 90-metre gap on Downing here. So it's Tacey who's on this descent at the moment. And if we take a little bit of a look back, you can see behind Tacey that three riders are together. And that's an early dig to go over the top. He's kept that pressure on, just over 5 watts per kilo here. But Tacey, it is Harrison Tacey who's got the gap as we descend down here. And you can see the pace he's doing at the moment, 70 kph on the way down. Quickly going to be around that corner. And then he's going to be up onto the next kicker of a climb, and it's vicious, it's steep, it's short, and it really does suit a sprinty ruler type rider like Tacey. Now Tacey puts the power up in as he comes round the corner to take that aero drag onto the climb, quickly up to 6.9 watts per kilo. Behind though, look at the numbers. Downing up at 12, Coleman at nearly 10 watts per kilo, Thorpe at 10 watts per kilo. They're coming, and they are coming quick. Look at the pace on Downing here as he comes up the climb. Is he gone too soon here? He's absolutely flown past him here. So it's Downing who's going to come up and through the line. He backs off that power. He's only down at 10 watts per kilo, you know, nothing drastic as he goes over the top. So these four riders stretching each other's legs as they go. At the moment, Thorpe is the rider at the back who's not done too much work as they come through. Downing leading through, Tacey second, Coleman third, Thorpe in fourth place, 17 seconds to Daryl Tattershaw-Waller, 21 to Gareth Mason, Fox, Emtage, Fletcher, Emsley, Kirk, Herring, all behind here as Tacey closes the gap down. Now, we've seen Tacey take the first position as he goes through the line before. He's putting the pressure back on again on this downhill. So Tacey really is starting to stretch it out. You can just see Tacey round this corner at the moment. Behind then Downing, and then Coleman and Thorpe. Now Coleman has taken wins, Downing's taken wins, Tacey's taken wins. Is Thorpe the rider that we need to watch out for here? He's got to be looking to take victory here today. Can he do it in this company? We're soon going to find out. So Thorpe now coming on to the front. Tacey currently at 4 seconds. 4 seconds a gap coming in towards the slope of the front. It's next to nothing that can be closed down in the blink of an eye unless Tacey has got something left in reserve. On towards the climb we go. It drags up. You can see it starting to ascend in front of our leaders here. Tacey quickly kicks on those pedals, and you can just see the watts per kilo going up now, up to 5.9 watts per kilo as he kicks into the climb behind. If they look at each other, he'll be gone. They can't afford to do that. They know they've got to start to answer this attack, and it's Coleman at the moment who is leading them out. There goes Tacey at 6 watts per kilo. Now Coleman and Thorpe both responding to this. Thorpe is leading the chase just, and at the moment it's Downing who's on the rack a little bit here behind them. So Downing is in danger of losing that podium spot. He's got another feather up going in at the moment. 10% off his already diminutive weight. He's only going to have lost a few grams off but that has made all the difference here, and Downing has really gone on the chase. He's used that power up, taking 10% off his body weight with it during the duration of that power up, and it makes a difference. It's almost brought him onto the wheels of Tacey. Here's the junction. The junction is about to be made. So it is Tacey, Downing, Thorpe chasing hard behind now. Now Thorpe has got to close this gap back down again. Can he bring this group back? And at the meantime, it looks like it's Coleman who is struggling behind. So Coleman struggling behind. We're now coming up. We've got the left turn. Then it's that long drag into the line. Riding with Thorpe at the moment. Time is running out if you want to put an attack in on the climb. 4 riders coming up, taking that left-hand turn. It's 8%, 7%. It's going to level off, and those riders are going to see that gantry, the finish line in front. You can just see it in the distance there. And at the moment, Thorpe has gone. He's pushed on, and he's got to keep this going now. He's opening a little bit of a gap. Tacey and Downing are looking at each other. Downing's responded to this. Has Tacey got anything left to answer this? Downing's up to 7 watts per kilo, up to 9 watts per kilo. Tacey's coming behind now. He's just going to get this. We said don't poke the bear. People did today, and he's going to answer this. I think Tacey's coming hard behind though. Look at this. Tacey's at 8.8 watts per kilo. Is Tacey going to take this out? Russ Downing currently leading it out as they come in towards the line, but Tacey's coming round him, and Tacey could kick to the line as Downing got another kick left in him. He has, but he can't make it. He's not going to kick hard enough. It's Tacey who gets this. Harrison Tacey with the win. Russ Downing taking 2nd place behind. It's going to be Thorpe in 3rd place. So it is Tacey in 1, Downing in 2, Thorpe in 3. It's going to be Coleman coming across the line in 4 behind. Tattershaw Waller, I think, has got the gap on everybody else. So Tattershaw Waller is coming up for what is going to be a 5th place today. So Tacey in 1, Thorpe in 2, Downing in 3, Coleman in 4. Tattershaw Waller coming across in 5th place. Clearly got some nice halo wheels on that Tron bike as he goes through the line. Now behind the fat cyclist Gareth Mason, surely not going to let this go in a sprint. That would be something he'll never live down. Nearly as bad as having the builders knock on the door at the wrong time. So here we go. It is Mason pushing in underneath the line ahead of Fox. Then it is going to be Tristan Emtish followed by Owen Fletcher. Moray just, he nearly got them on the line then. It's going to be Sam Emsley. I should know him long enough. So Sam Emsley going through just ahead of Richardson. Behind though, there is a massive sprint going on, and it's that man who was riding for 24 hours. He's still got something left in those legs. He's not given, that is for sure. As he kicks to the line, it is going to be Herring, Jose K and Richardson going through behind him. Then Taylor doing a great ride through the line. Then it's going to be Jess Evans, the first female cyclist through, quickly off those pedals. And look at the collection of jerseys Jess has picked up on the way. Great riding by Jess Evans, the Assos rider, once again doing the business behind. Then it was Kirk Childs Goddard just on that push in towards the line. There's some very tired legs. It looks like Tristan just about able to type as he gets over the line. Good to see Mr. Goddard coming in. Another great ride once again. He's there us all the way through. When he says he's going to take that win, and all going to be really pleased when that happens. Now Rich Orrell on a great rise here. He is coming in. That is tough stuff. But he's got to come clear of Dave Ambrose. Dave Ambrose is trying to close down Richard, of course, a winner in our competitions, as has Ambrose been, both members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang supporters club. Next up is going to be McDermott, and look at Luke Taylor go here. So Luke Taylor is on a serious mission here into the line. So Taylor comes through just ahead of McDermott. Behind, I think it is going to be a runner. Has Runner got a decent gap here? I think so. So Goddard, just thinking he's going to hope so. He's going to go. It's going to be one of these days. He's so close, is Goddard. I think he's got to be. It's only a matter of time and now. So I think Jess Evans currently about to struggle to get off the bike. Don't worry, Jess. Just sit there and recover for a bit as Sean Runnett comes through. Then it's going to be our winner of the last pair of Oakley Sutros going out to the members of the DCG gang, looking super cool. It is Paul Coleman. Doing a great job pushing into the line now. He's going to be ahead of Mike Killingsworth. Killingsworth, of course, used to being across finish lines, hanging on to the sidecar. And Mike Killingsworth is improving week on week. A regular on the Chaingang from day one. Then it's going to be Evans, Kestevan and Co. Just riding in with John Garford, who's going to take it from Evans, then Kestevan. Kestevan, the second of our female riders. A really strong ride again by Fiona Kestevan, doing another great ride as she comes through. Steve Hilbert behind. Then it's going to be Ian Taylor, the man who was giving away all of those Oakley goodies. And great to see Ian on another good ride. Really clearly enjoying this circuit. Then it's going to be Forrester, Sam Kinlock just coming up to the line. So it's a Kinlock in and through the line. Then we're going to Luke Stone. So Stone is going to be our next rider. Behind, then it's going to be a sprint between Lindley and Ferron. I'm not sure who my money's on here. Lindley has been sprinting well. He's got the power down. But Sean Ferron is not known to give up easily in the sprint. And that was ever so close. We'll go back to watching that back again to see who got that. Good riding by Tom Lindley. He was getting sprint after sprint. Next up is going to be Sutcliffe. So Sutcliffe comes in and underneath the gantry. He's going to have about 20 seconds on Mason. So Mason, our next rider, coming in to the finish here in Richmond. And great riding as he heads in. We're going to try and head across in a little while to Russ, because we're just going to let him get his breath back as we see Steph Rourke come through. Rourke's going to come through and take the third female spot on the ride today, and in some really good company there with Fiona Kestevan, of course, former National Hill Climb champion Jess Evans. So it is going to be Rourke, the next rider who's going to come in and through the line. So Steph Rourke doing a great ride here, pushing on here, 5.9 watts per kilo, real big kick in to the finish, using the power up as well on the way up towards the line. Great riding by Rourke here. And she comes up and underneath the gantry to finish, coming clear of Robinson and Scotland on the way to the line. So next up is going to be Robinson. Let's see if we can get hold of Russ. How are you doing, Russ? Are you all right, mate?
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of. I'm not surprised. I'm sure your legs are pretty sore after that one.
Oh, my legs don't hurt anymore, mate. It's just my lungs are just like, why am I going that hard? But, you know, it was good fun. Like I said, I know the climbs are still one of my favourite rides on Zwift, and like we were on about earlier, I got lucky. I used the power ups, and then I got another one. So I was like, I just used them very wisely. You know, when I was using them, I was going so deep, and the boys went over the top. Like Harrison went over the top on Libby Hill. I had nothing. I was all in. I had to recover.
I'm not surprised. And one man who has recovered is Johnny Two Dogs, and Johnny absolutely flying round now. His powers of recovery after what he's been through, really amazing, aren't they?
It's just over 3 weeks, I think, since
yep.
he jumped himself in a canal or whatever he did. But you know, he was doing well on Bologna the other night, and he posted his heart rate stats and that, and it was funny. Ty Wuffingen messaged me and went, "Oh, is this the guy's first time at riding the heart rate monitor?" I went, "No, mate, he's been injured, and the gang was just solid, so he had a great workout."
Yeah.
I was like,
yep, definitely, and it really shows. Good to see Sonia Inslee. Sonia was hanging with that big group for so long, I thought we were going to see Sonia into that final climb, just getting distanced on the way in, but not all that far behind here. And some really fast female performances with Jess Evans coming in, taking the lead. Then Fiona Kestevan, another of our regular fast finishers when we get hills, followed by Steph Rourke, who's putting in great rides. And Sonia, of course, she was our very first DCG Gang monthly member.
Yeah, Sonia's been in it from the start. She loves it. She's been on Zwift a while, so she knows the route. She knows how to hurt herself. And yeah, saw her, around the back, coming to the bottom of Libby Hill. Saw Jess still there at the bottom of Libby Hill. So they're just bossing it. Getting deeper and deeper into the race, and they love it. So yeah.
Great to see. Great. I'm not surprised. Great to see, and good to see so many riders coming in that pack. And just see Mark Grant on his way up the hill. Mark had a hard time of tech issues on Bologna on Tuesday, which is always brutal. Now we're seeing him coming up in sight of the finish, and really has improved. And we said that about the Chaingang. That is why we do it, isn't it? It's because we've seen these riders improve time and time and time again. And that's what we want to see from everybody. Play the game, get faster and faster. The group gets quicker, and we all put in personal best times. I mean, I've lost count of the amount of confetti cannons that must have been fired over Richmond today.
Yeah, so Mark was steady where it's like Martin Bartle looked up deep into the ride tonight, and he was there banging around in his Zed Peugeot kit. But he's quite chatty at the start, and he was like, "Come on, guys, just concentrate." And then three soon showed up, didn't it?
It certainly does, and that's the thing. It doesn't want to go too early. If people go too hard too early, then you don't get that ramp effect. You don't get the improvements, which is why we see week after week after week people getting personal best. We see them getting new FTP, functional threshold power numbers. That is why it works. But you have to play the game for it to work.
Yeah, and that's what it is. You see, my heart rate just gets steadily up and up and up, and that last lap it goes up too much, but that's another story.
Definitely, I think that last bit was pretty brutal. Just seeing Martin just heading up towards the final climb. So Pattison on the final climb, Martin Bolt just about to kick into it. Looks like Caroline Mansfield just coming over the top of the cobble climb and heading down in towards the final climb. Jim Flynn, looks like Jim is on the zigzags of Libby Hill at the moment, and I suspect Alan Parsons is having a lonely old ride, because I think a lot of the people who were with him on the bus have jumped off the bus to do other things. I think the G&T's got to them on the bus.
It was 15 minutes down, I think, with a lap to go or something. So he's going to be, he's going to be picking potatoes or whatever he's got in his allotment all the way around, isn't it? That's
going to take a bit of bringing in. He's about 6.5 minutes down on Pattison, who is still on that final climb, so plenty of riders to come in. Now, we've got plenty more coming up, of course, for DCG Gang members, the members of the Donny Chaingang supporters still coming up. And we've got to say a massive thank you to them. Don't forget, of course, Russ has plenty of goodies stashed away. Not in the pain cave yet, but I'm sure they soon will be, including the Yellow Beacon Blend coffee. Now, this stuff is amazing. He's also got, because hidden down here, secret stash of coffee. Don't tell anybody, but we have our secret stash of, let's see if we can get the camera to focus on it, our Yellow Beacon Blend. Still got plenty of those, have we, Russ?
Still got plenty of stock, mate. I'm drinking more than I'm getting rid of lately. I've been too busy to sell it, but yeah, it's great. It's a great all-day blender, and then the double day down in cycling one's a little bit stronger. So, for the extra vavavoom or the extra ale stuff, because it's from Yorkshire.
It definitely, and it does make a difference, doesn't it, in terms of just keeping the show on the road. The more people that can buy the goods and get the goodies and get those discounts, it's just a way we can say thank you as well for everybody supporting the Chaingang. So make sure you get in touch with Russ. Russ, plenty of coffee. Don't have Russ drinking it, or can you imagine the bear on caffeine? It's not a good thought.
No, I did have to sink last day. I got in the hour. I dropped the tools at 4:30. A quick clean up of them, and then quick peanut butter on toast, and then I think I had double day or roulette. I think it was something else, but yeah, I just got it in me, so I was loving it.
Definitely. Well, we're going to let you dive back in. We're going to jump in with Martin, who's well on his way up the climb. Russ, get some recovery in. Don't you be working too hard on that pain cave. We need your legs in one piece for next week.
Yeah, big day tomorrow, mate. Footings are getting dug out tomorrow, so yeah, it's all go.
Yeah, and if you want to see some pictures of Russ's pain cave as it gets built, I'm sure you all know where to head. Make sure you give Russ Downing a follow on Instagram, on Facebook. Make sure you join the Facebook page for the Donny Chaingang as well. You can follow me at Matt Fixer Pain as well, and at Full Speed Events. Don't forget to give Downing Cycling a follow and subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is the Downing Cycling YouTube channel, to get you notified every time we go live with the rides on the Donny Chaingang. So thanks very much, Russ. We're going to let you get some recovery done, ready for tomorrow.
Cheers, mate.
So great to catch up with Russ there. Our riders all well on the way around this circuit. Martin Bolt now on his way up to the climb, and as you can see the shots of Martin as he comes in live here on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel. The watts are starting to ramp up as Martin sees that gantry coming closer and closer here, and currently that 1% drag will feel like a 15% hill. It's horrible as you go over the top. It doesn't relent as you come through the line, but it's going to be Martin Bolt, our next rider, coming home here on the Donny Chaingang as Martin backs off those pedals coming in underneath the gantry, which leaves us two riders out on course. Our Pretty Gritty CEO, and that is Caroline Mansfield. Caroline Mansfield, responsible for this fantastic t-shirt. It is my t-shirt of choice when we get a warm day outside and the studio really heats up down here, down in the old beer cellar in the old pub. However, the beer cellar studio, as it's been nicknamed, is very cool normally, but when it isn't, as it's got warmer today, definitely Pretty Gritty t-shirt, absolutely superb stuff for keeping cool. And remember, of course, environmentally friendly, as sustainable and as ethical as they can make it. So don't forget, make sure you go on to the Pretty Gritty website, and if you're a member of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, don't forget you can pick up Pretty Gritty t-shirts like this, the whole kit, and if you've got a set of Oakley Sutros like Caroline, they will match absolutely spot on, I can guarantee you that. Make sure you get the discount code. So join the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, and we can get you a discount on lots of things, including t-shirts like this. Let's watch Caroline coming in to the line as she just comes past the start pens. They're off to Caroline's right, our left. And Caroline now on that final stretch, heading up into the finishing line here in Richmond, and Caroline kicking out nice wattage and keeping those revs nice and smooth as she comes into the line. Nice 85 revs per minute, and just on that final pull to the line. Great riding by Caroline, who's in that leading pack for quite a while as she came in and through. Good riding by Caroline, which leaves us our red beacon, who's out on course. This is the one and only Alan Parsons, who is busy diving down the hillside at the moment. So Alan, unlike all of our red beacons, volunteering for the role. The rota held by our friends over in Team Sheffield. Gail Phillips is the head honcho when it comes to being in charge of the red beacons, and the red beacon role is always a really fulfilling one, helping riders. They can stay in a little while, they can stay in a long while, and it's all about looking after the riders and using your experience as a rider who's ridden the Chaingang before to keep as many riders in as close and as long as possible. Now, Alan, very experienced rider on and off road. Had the pleasure of riding with Alan and scoping out and putting together cross courses, and Alan riding nice and smoothly up here, keeping those pedals ticking over after a hard day, working on the allotment as well in this baking hot temperatures. So not surprised that heart rate's right up at 156. I bet there's some serious dehydration in there as well, and I'm sure when he finishes he's going to be taking advantage of the discounts on the Cold Bath Brewing Company's Pilsners, which you can pick up if you're over 18 on the website. And don't forget again, discounts for members of the DCG gang. Normally the pack of 6 beers, the bottle opener, the Muse set, as well as some DCG stickers are normally coming to you for £30, and discount price for our members of £25. So you'll need to get 4 packs of beer, and you've already got your donation for the month back from the brewing company already. Now, Alan on this fast descent as we head down the slope, keeping it low, not choosing to dive into the super tuck position here in Richmond. Alan making his way around here, looking super smooth on the way down. Nice 91 revs per minute on that descent there, and you can just see it leveling out once again. It's going to be a right turn on the flat as he then heads along, and then he's going to be on to the climb up to the finish line. So around the turn goes down. He's got one more right, one more left to go, but in between the final climb of the day here in Richmond. So as Alan makes his way along, I want to say a massive thank you to you for watching, a massive thank you to everybody for riding the Chaingang. Don't forget, of course, the aim is a structured workout that everybody gets faster and faster and faster on, and our riders improve throughout the duration. We've got lots more action coming up. Russ and I not planning on the Chaingang going anywhere other than the world of Zwift all the way through the course of 2021. We were right from lockdown 1 right the way through for 12 months. We've got lots more routes planned. We've got lots more surprises. We've got a whole host of goodies lined up for members of the DCG gang. Don't forget, all this done by Russ and me. We had a mad moment when we thought, oh, we'll give people something to look forward to and to ride on. We thought we'd get 20-30 riders 12 months ago, and we put a little bit of time into it. It'd be an hour a night, it'd be fine. The behemoth that is the Chaingang rolls on. 2,500 members on Facebook, hundreds of thousands of hours of coverage and of viewing time. A membership of the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club that is a key part of keeping the show on the road. Our volunteers on the red beacons, the Facebook page that looks after each other, and of course, don't forget, we have our great sponsors who look after the Chaingang, look after our riders, people like OTE, Cold Bath Brewing Company, Halo Wheels, Velo Skin, 1080 Velo Viewer. We have, of course, Pretty Gritty and Grand Tour Coffee. And speaking of Grand Tour Coffee, I think I'm almost out of today's coffee. Fortunately, got plenty of OTE left. Don't forget, if you're going out for a spin on the bike and you want some company, don't forget you can always get in touch with people on the Facebook page. I know lots of our riders have been getting together in real life, subject to restrictions as at the moment, which is groups of 6, and seeing lots of great pictures of people meeting up in real life as well, and great to see friends who've made friends on the Chaingang coming together, and all this brought to you really on a mad moment by Russ and myself. So as Alan is now coming up to that left-hand turn, he's not got all that far to go to that finishing turn. We're just going to see him take this left-hand turn. Don't forget, of course, to give us a follow on the social media. So you can follow Donny Chaingang, you can follow myself, Matt Payne, and of course Russ Downey. You can follow Biking Emma, which is our yellow beacon for the Women's Wednesdays, and Women's Wednesdays will be back. We had a big block of them in the early part of the spring to get people riding and fit and fast. We've got a lot of conversion from that into the standard Chaingang. That's open to men and women, to all riders, and that is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Women's only Wednesdays will be back. We've got lots more lined up. We've been working on the routes, and at the moment, lots of people out and racing. A lot of the female members as well, and that's where a lot of the professional riders are up to at the moment. I've got to say a big thank you to all of our professional riders, people like Reese Wood, Connor Swift, Ben Swift, national champions, Joey Walker, national crit champion, people like Stephen de Jong, who's been on to a certain Mr. Wiggins, who's out and running. Of course, Chris Hoy came out and played in London as well, but plenty more riders. Don't forget, of course, we've had people like Charlotte Coglove, Joe Tinley, Katie Scott, Lots of riders on the Chaingang as well. Frankie Hall was in early doors. April Tacey, the winner of the very first women's stage of the Tour de France virtual riding, joining all of our riders out on the course. So thank you very much to all of our pro riders. I'm sure we'll be seeing you back over the course of the winter. In the meantime, make sure you stick with us here on the Donny Cycling YouTube channel. So as Alan Parsons, our red beacon, completes his voluntary duties for the night going in and through, all that remains is for me to say have a great weekend. We'll see you again on Tuesday out on the Donny Chaingang here live on the Donny Cycling YouTube channel. So from me, from Russ, from everybody on the Chaingang, have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.